Hey everybody, and welcome to the Chair with James. We're gonna do the Week 10 recap of the NFL season and preview and predict Week 11. And honestly, it was great. I got to go out to the country and watch some games with people that are great. And I'll start it off with Thursday Night Football, where the Colts defeated the Titans 34-17. The Colts take the division for now with the win, and so many mistakes made by the Tennessee special teams. There was a 12 or 15 or 17-yard punt, and also later a blocked punt that sprung the Colts ahead. But Nyheim Hines, the Phillip Rivers, were making. He made great passes to the tight ends and to those backs. So they're doing it even without Marlon Mack the whole year. The Colts are ahead of the Titans, which I think I would think the majority of people, certainly myself, thought the Titans would be the toast of the AFC South, but there's still so much time left. But yeah, great win regardless by the Colts to start off Week 10 with Thursday Night Football. Sunday, Philadelphia and the New York Giants squared off with their horrible records for the divisional race in the NFC East. And the Giants shocked the Eagles 27-17. I definitely had the Eagles winning, but that wasn't the case. Daniel Jones had a long scamper for a touchdown, and the Eagle offense just had nothing going. I mean, you would have thought, okay, we're coming off a bye. We're going to be fine. We're going to make plays happen. But they didn't show up, honestly. They didn't show up at all. So props to the New York Giants. They're only a game or half game out of first place, even without Barkley and even without all the talent that they're missing from years past. You got to give them credit. This one was a shocker in Green Bay. Not the result of who won, but the score. Jacksonville was in the game. I mean, they even led. But Green Bay holds on 24-20. I was watching this game, and I thought it was going to be like a 30-point blowout, what you saw with the Steeler and Bengal game coming up, but it wasn't the case. So props to Jacksonville, even with the one win, playing their ass off and just coming up short. Washington went to Detroit, and this game was a thriller. Detroit held on by a Matt Prater long field goal to win the game, 30-27. It was one of these back and forth games. After Detroit had a good lead, Washington came back and scored. But Matt Prater, who's been clutch in the 4 wins that the Lions have, or 5 wins, I believe, or 4. Detroit gets it done. Next game was delayed. What was it? Half an hour, I think. Windy and lightning conditions in Cleveland, and it certainly showed. The wind, the rain. It was just a messy game for your offense. Cleveland won 10-7. They survived. Further, the Houston Texans go down in the hole, and Cleveland gets to hold on for one more week with the W. They are without Myles Garrett this week, which we'll preview. Another game I was watching closely was Tampa Bay and Carolina. Now, Tampa Bay didn't get off to the greatest of starts, but they certainly showed up in the second quarter and mollywopped the Carolina Panthers 46-23. Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in the game. He didn't come back, and I wonder how his status is for the Week 11 game. Tampa Bay looked great. They looked like what they would look like on paper. You know, if you did a simulation, I guess from, Brady, 5 years ago and Gronk from 5 years ago. But it seemed like everybody had a piece in the win offensively for the Bucks. It was a 98-yard run by Ronald Jones Jr. It was awesome. He just found the hole and he was gone. It was so amazing. The former Trojan had to get that in there. Chargers went to Miami. And the score, as good friend said, didn't show how close the game was. The final was 28-21, but Miami held court all the way. They led all the way. And another loss for the Chargers, but this one wasn't heartbreaking at all. It was just a loss from start to finish. No leads, no nothing. Funny mention about this game, well, I say during the week. A rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert, he didn't have a good game. But he shaved his hair. He has a kind of a crew cut going now. But the defense and the special teams was doing it for Miami again. And Tua got the win, oh sure. Denver went to Las Vegas for the first time to play the Raiders. And this was a dominant game by the Raiders, start to finish. Ran the ball well, passed it okay. Denver could not get anything going offensively. Drew Lock threw for 3 picks, and there was a fumble lost by a receiver. Just a horrible day by the Broncos. Meanwhile, the Raiders go to 6-3, and they look better than ever, especially with the running game. That was a great thing to see. I think the most exciting play came out of the next game. Buffalo went to Arizona. Buffalo held court early. Let Arizona back in. They went back and forth. There was a Stephon Diggs touchdown pass with about 30, 40 seconds, 50 seconds left. 30 seconds left, which put the Bills ahead. And Kyler Murray threw one of the most amazing passes I think you'll ever see. I mean, he's falling down at midfield on the last play of the game, the last drive, last play of that Cardinal drive. Falling down, 8 seconds to go, whatever it was. Fell down. Or not fell down. He didn't fall down. He was falling down. Threw the ball high in the air. Somehow got it down there. And then somehow DeAndre Hopkins, with 3 Bills around him, and with 2 sets of Bills' hands, and his hands were able to grab the ball amongst all those hands. It was one of the most amazing plays I think you'll ever see. I mean, if you go, in the top 100 list or whatever, you have to add that in and take something out. Or 101, since it's the 101st football season in the NFL, you have to put that play in. And Metcalf's from 3 weeks ago, chasing down Baker, but. With that Hail Mary, Cardinals win 32-30. Just amazing how that game ended. I couldn't believe it. I thought the Bills were going to hold on. Their defense was going to hold on, but that was fun. That was fun to see. The 49ers, banged up as they are, went to New Orleans. New Orleans held on. questionable calls on 40 on the 49er defense, and then later on in the game, Drew Brees got hurt. What was it? A cracked rib and a collapsed lung, and he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks. And we'll get to the Saints when we get to Week 11. But Drew Brees went out. Jameis Winston went in and did an okay job. He didn't lose the game, so that was good. So New Orleans wins, but it at a price. A NFC West showdown. The Seahawks went to LA to face the Rams. And this was a game where you saw Seattle just, sorry to say, just did not look well. Offensively, defensively, DK Metcalf finally got his first catch in the third quarter with, I believe, 50 seconds left or something like that. But when he's your main target, you can't have that happen. You have to get him the ball. Especially, with your running game is just, DK Dallas with all the injuries that you have. You got to get others involved. And the Rams, credit to their defense. A lot of third down stops. The Ram offense with a lot of third down completions. Seattle could not stop that. And they scored just enough. Russell Wilson with 3 picks. Ram defense doing a tremendous job, and they win 23-16. Cincinnati went to Pittsburgh, and it went how I thought it would. I had someone tell me, "Oh yeah, the Bengals are going to upset the Steelers," and I no way. Steelers won 36-10. They had authority over that game the whole time. Baltimore on Sunday Night Football went to New England. Now this was a game I thought New England would lose. But the weather went in their favor, and the lead went in their favor, and the game went in their favor. Lamar didn't look well in the rain. Their running game wasn't going. Passing game wasn't going. Meanwhile, New England, I want to say showed their experience, but, there's a few leftovers from years past. You still have Cam Newton, and he was running well, but I guess the genius of Belichick and his defensive scheme worked out. And one funny note, well, not funny to Baltimore, but it was like a monsoon. They were thinking about even stopping the game and, bringing it back when the weather cleared up. Well, it was rainy, it was windy, it was horrible. And it happened to happen where Baltimore needed to score at the end of the game, and there was a player who dropped a pass. It was wet. The football was wet. And I was just thinking about it after the game, or just before or after the game. What if it dries up as the Ravens are leaving Gillette Stadium on the bus? And that's exactly what happened. It became dry. There was no rain. Still windy, but it was rain. It was no rain at all, and it's just bad timing, I guess. Monday Night Football was Minnesota going to Chicago. Minnesota held on 19-13, and Nick Foles got injured in the game, and he'll be out. And this is a time where they really need Trubisky. They've lost 5 in a row. Have the Bears. The Vikings are on a winning streak right now. They have a favorable schedule this past 3 or 4 weeks. So it looks like they could get back into the race and replace the Bears. And the Lions, too, could even hop over Chicago the way things are going. So we'll see about the Vikings later on. Week 11 started off with Thursday Night Football, and it was a back-and-forth game. I mean, really was. And Kyler Murray got hurt, but he was able to stick in the game. Had a shoulder injury. He was slammed on. He was hit one time and slammed on it. And It kind of reminded me of the Nick Foles injury, but not as severe as Nick Foles is out for the rest of the year. Kyler Murray will wait and see about next week, but he stayed in the game, but he wasn't as accurate with his throws because of the injury. I'm not gonna. I know he has a lot of haters and critics out there, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And they had a chance even to come back and win, but Seattle held on 28-21. Carlos Hyde had a ball game for Seattle, and Russell Wilson. Hey, he just did enough. He had Metcalf going. Um, Bad part about again injuries. Greg Olsen got injured, and it didn't look well for him. And I think his year is over, but hopefully not his career. The tight end from the U. So 28-21 Thursday night football. Seattle defeats Arizona. Quickly through week 11 on Sunday. Cincinnati goes to Washington. You wonder if Cincinnati will bounce back, or will they have a bad game? Washington does give up points. I'd probably have to give, and you gotta give Alex Smith a credit for coming back in that game against Detroit. But the defense hasn't done much. I mean, Chase Young, he had a stupid penalty against Matthew Stafford and the Lions, which gave the Lions 15 more yards and a chance for Matt Prater to win the game, and he promptly did. So Cincinnati, I think, even in Washington, will win that game. The Falcons go to the Saints. So you thought with Breeze hurt for 2 or 3 weeks that Jameis Winston would come in and start. Well, it's Taysom Hill who will start for the Saints against the Falcons. Falcons coming in as a better team. It feels like, even off their bye, it feels like, they were in a rhythm offensively. The defense, it still gives a lot of points. But don't be a shocker if the Falcons upset the Saints this week. But Taysom Hill, he's like a good friend said. She said he's a Swiss Army knife. He's favorite player in the league just because of all the things he run, pass, catch. Probably even kick. I don't know if he's punted before, but I wouldn't doubt that. So that'll be interesting to see how Taysom Hill starts. I'll be watching that game for sure. The game I won't be watching is Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to lose that game pretty bad to the Steelers. New England goes to Houston. I feel like Cam Newton's going to have a good running game against that Texan defense, but I want to see J.J. Watt do well. And I want to see Deshaun Watson, how he passes against those Patriots who are off the roster, or off the injured with that Patriot defense. I want to see how Deshaun Watson does. He has weapons. Darren Fells, Golden Tate if he gets his mind right, but Brandon Cooks, not last week but the week before, had a great game. So I want to see if he'll get the ball. But I'm going to go with New England. Philadelphia goes to Cleveland. Now this one feels like a toss-up. If Philadelphia gets their heads out of there, you-know-what. Cleveland right now, even without Myles Garrett in this game, I think will still beat Philadelphia. So I'll go with the Browns. Nick Chubb just came back, and he had a pretty good game last week, which is, happy for me because I have him on one of my fantasy ball clubs. Despite the fact he ran out of the 1 yard line just to let the time go at the end of the game, and he could have just scored. It wouldn't have mattered. They were playing Houston, but he did the right thing. I could pout, I can cry all day, but hey, he did the right thing. So I think he'll have another good game. I know Philly has a good defense, but it certainly didn't show against the Giants last week. Detroit City goes to Carolina. I wonder if Bridgewater's going to play, but this game I don't know about. I would think Detroit pulls off the upset, Uh, yeah, I'll go Detroit with that one. Um, they seem to get the right plays at the right time in their wins. Tennessee goes to Baltimore. It's like with these two teams, will the real ones please stand up each week? I guess some home cooking would work. Some lobster, uh, or Maine. I can't remember Baltimore what they're known for. Crabs. I'm sorry, crabs. Uh, I think being home and crabby after the loss against the Patriots, I think Baltimore will defeat Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill for the Titans. He's really been awful lately um, at quarterback. Did not have a good Thursday night game. Yes, the Colts defense is pretty good, but he's facing a Baltimore defense that's pretty good themselves. So I'm going to go with the Ravens on that one. The New York Jets go to the Chargers. I'm going to say the Chargers win. They defeated Jacksonville earlier in the year at home, and it feels like one of those games again where they're going to beat, for once, an opponent lesser than them with the Jets. But the Jets, I'm just hoping they come out and they show up like they did against that Monday, even though they lost against the Patriots. But I'm hoping the Jets show up at least for an entertaining game. Miami goes to Denver. Let's see if Tua on the road. Well, he's already played one game on the road. He didn't do that bad, but in Denver, outside, in cold weather, because they were in Arizona. But at Denver. Now, this is a game for Denver and for Drew Lock especially to show if he belongs, especially against that Miami defense. This defense is for real, and maybe the Dolphins are for real. Running game going, passing game going. Tua is doing just enough. But their special teams and their defense is going right now. It's opposites right now with these two. Miami good, Denver bad, to put it like that one dude in the jungle would say. Fire bad. Or no, Frankenstein. Fire bad. Yeah. So I'm going with Miami. Dallas goes to Minnesota. Now, I know this was a game where it was, hyped up. Week 11. Let's see the matchups. Let's see what can be the game of the week. This isn't really. Dallas coming off their bye. They still got the fourth-string quarterback who did well against the Steelers. He'll be starting Garrett. We'll see how he does against Minnesota. Of course, their defense isn't the same, but they did get some turnovers against the Chicago Bears. And if all that goes the right way, and if they don't allow big plays to happen to Lamb and the other receivers Gallup, and they stop Elliott, the Vikings should win. If they get Justin Jefferson involved, Kirk Cousins plays a decent game, and Dalvin Cook, who's been just untouchable. Well, not last Monday, but he did enough. But the 2 weeks before, he was running wild, and we'll see if he runs wild again on the Cowboys' horrid defense. Now this game here, should be probably the afternoon game of the week, and it's Green Bay going to Indianapolis. It feels like you're kind of stuck with this game because of other teams' injuries, but Colts coming off that Thursday night win, had some extra days off. Green Bay Packers come in surviving at home against Jacksonville. You feel like you hope this game is a shootout. You hope that if you're a Colts fan, you hope the defense gets to Rodgers and gets some plays on the Packer offense. Man, I don't know about this game, but I guess I'll go with the Packers right now, and I can hope that Indianapolis just shows up and plays a good game. Not like the one they had at home against Baltimore, but more like the game in Tennessee. Maybe the special teams will have something to do about that, something to say about that. Sunday Night Football. Kansas City goes to Las Vegas for the first time to play the Raiders. Last time these two faced, the Raiders upset Kansas City at Arrowhead. These two have been talking. These two franchises have been talking back and forth on social media and on television shows and all that. Really don't know how this game is going to go because the Raiders can show up one week and then not show up. But if they play like they did against the Broncos and against the Chiefs the last time, then they really have a shot. Kansas City coming off of a bye, they should be fresh and ready to go and hard to beat. So I'd probably have to go Kansas City, despite everything you see behind me. But we'll have that more on the Raider preview here on the chair. We'll have more about that game because it's a showdown for me, and I can only hope for the best with the Raiders. Monday Night Football. The LA Rams go to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Now this game, Monday night, you hope it's a toss-up. You hope it's a high-scoring game. Both defenses come and go, but it seems like both offenses have their ups and downs as well. But not as of late. It feels like the Rams, even without getting Woods and Kupp the ball as much, they still are able to win games. But the way Tampa Bay looked last week in Carolina, you feel like that's going to be Bucks win. But for now, I'll say Tampa Bay. I feel like they'll get it done at home. There will be a crowd there, I think, depending how things go in the country, the ongoing pandemic. But you just feel like, okay, experience with Brady and Gronk and the others, Jones, they can get some running game. If they could get their running game going, if they can get themselves going defensively, then I think the Bucks will win. But the Rams, they got to get Woods and Cuff the ball, and then whatever they did last week with running and with third down conversions. I know they use Josh Reynolds a lot. It's nice to see Cup and Woods get the ball too, at least for my fantasy. But we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to close out Week 11 on Monday Night Football. Please like, subscribe, follow, and share. If you've made it this long through the picks, I know I talk forever. It'll be an interesting week. There's probably going to be some letdowns, but there may be some surprises in this Week 11. And we'll watch with you, wherever you may be. Just stay safe, stay home. And out here in California, there's a curfew now. So we'll see what happens with that. That should be entertaining for sure. So we'll see you next time on the chair. Take care, everybody.